Hello, Fat Grandma here. It is April 25th. I promised you guys I would get my solds video done today, and I did not get to recording it until now. It is almost 9 o'clock in the evening. Anyway, Simon is back there trying to cover up his food, and he's being weird, so I don't know if that's going to make noise. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully he'll behave himself. Again, I've got my air conditioner going and my floor fan, and so you guys may hear that. Sorry for the lighting, but I did not get a chance to record this during the day, so this is what we have. I mentioned in my video from yesterday about the USPS, just that whole situation, that near the end of it, I mentioned that I'm kind of trying to get things marked down in my store, kind of having a clearance, whatever. I'm trying to figure out a dollar amount where it's no longer worth it to put the item in a box, use my bubble wrap and tape and everything, and ship something out. Like what my cutoff limit is going to be for the price of an item. Like if the item is under $5, it's really not worth it for me to ship it. If I have to put it in a box and I have to use bubble wrap, most of my stuff is breakable. So at that point, it's just not worth it. So a lot of stuff that's in my store that's low dollar is probably going to be pulled fairly soon. If I'm spending, because I buy my boxes in packages of 25, and if I'm spending where it works out to about 50 cents or 60 cents a box, plus bubble wrap that I have to use, it's, if the item is under $5, then my profit is really nothing. It's just not worth it. So that's where we're at with that. And it may be higher than $5 where I end up cutting off those items that are under that dollar amount. I mean, if people are going to purchase more than one item and I can ship them together, that helps a little bit. But most people don't do that. They'll buy one item and that's it. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. If you have not been here before, my name is Paula. I have a small store on eBay. I was selling on Poshmark, and I tried District for a while, and those just did not do well for me. So, I've got my Poshmark store set on vacation right now. I may try it again at some point in the future, but for right now, it's just not, I'm not even going to bother with it. Anyway, these sales that I'm going to do are from, let's see, what was my cutoff? I decided not to include any since the 20th. So this is going to be from March 21st through April 20th, all of the sales for that month. And there are about 50 sales. So this is going to take a while. Grab some popcorn, grab a glass of wine. I don't know what you want to do to amuse yourself. If you're a person that likes to watch these types of videos and you look at the screen when I'm showing the item that I sold, you might want to have something to do while I'm talking. Because again, it's probably going to be long. And I'm sorry, it's just, things have been going on. You guys know if you've watched my past couple videos. So anyway, I'm going to try to get into this. I'm going to try to hurry as much as I can. I did have some viewer sales, so I want to make sure to thank those people. If you purchased something from me and did not send me a note telling me that you were a viewer and I don't mention you, it's because you did not send me a note. So, again, if you guys purchase from me, please send me a note on eBay, because I don't always notice the names. I don't, my brain's usually elsewhere. So, I like to thank people who are my viewers when they make a purchase. If you don't care, then don't worry about it. But if you like the acknowledgement, then please send me a note. There's a place where you can put a note in for the seller when you make your purchase. And, just let me know, hey, I'm a viewer, blah, 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 whatever. And then when I do my next video, hopefully not in a month, I will be able to thank you. So here we go. Okay, first item that sold was a set of 4 PCS, Rosenthal, Fortuna, Coup, Sherbert, champagne glasses. They had a smoke vase, mid-century modern. Anyway, those four glasses sold for $54. If you happen to see these, they're very thin and they feel like they would break, but apparently they made it there in one piece. So, yeah, $54 for these four little glasses. So that was a good sale. Shipping paid was $6.45. So I did pay $20 for those. So I paid up a little bit, but I still made, there was still $34 of profit there. Well, not profit. So about, I don't know, $28 in profit after my cost of goods and fees and all that stuff. Still, it's not bad. That was a good sale. The next item I sold, the next two items were to a viewer. Hi, Mary. Thank you. I've actually got another purchase from her later on. I think it's the last sale from this batch. Anyway, she purchased a ceramic Easter basket. It was the red and yellow M&M's candy. It was an FTD planter, and it was vintage. And so let's see, Mary paid $6.79 for that, and I shipped with it a lot of 4 white wooden easel plate stands. They were 6-inch plate stands from Bed Bath & Beyond. They were new. They sold the stickers on them, and she paid $7.64 for those. So her total was somewhere around 14 and change plus shipping. Her shipping ended up being $12.84. I did ship them together. Sometimes people want me to ship things together and they don't make sense. And I try, but sometimes I just can't do it. So anyway, thank you again, Mary, for your purchase. Mary has purchased from me a number of times, so she's a faithful follower. Okay, the next item I sold was a BAB Daisy Bunny pink 16-inch Build-A-Bear plush. She was in a gingham dress with a gingham dress that was like spring or for Easter. Sold for $8.50 and shipping was $9.52. I have had this thing listed for way over a year. When I bought it at a thrift store, it looked like the comps were good for it, and it has sat and sat and it was really cute. And it was in really good shape. I think it even had a tag on it still. But yeah, the Build-A-Bears, I will never pick up another one unless it's one of those wolf ones. I picked up one that just looked kind of ratty, and but it was a wolf or I don't think it was a fox. I think it was a wolf, and that thing ended up being worth some money. It wasn't a ton, but it was worth picking up, so. But these bunnies and the other kind of stuff, nope, not anymore. I'm done with that. I just don't do well with plush. Some people do. Yay for them. It's not my wheelhouse. The next item I sold was a vintage Dunlop golf bag. It was a women's powder blue. Still had the tags on it. This was in my mother's corner bedroom, was never used. They bought this thing back in, I want to say the late 80s, early 90s. I'm not positive on the time, but it was brand new, never used, and it was in really good shape. It never saw outside even. Anyway, it sold for $55 and shipping was $42.25. So that was a good sale and it didn't cost me anything. The original price for that, it still had the price sticker on it, was $29.99, and I think they bought it at JCPenney. And I don't remember because my mother never golfed, but her twin sister was married to a guy that did golf, and I think they were all gonna go golfing at some point, and it never happened, so the bag never got used. Typical of my mom to buy stuff that she never used. She's done that a lot. Anyway, okay, so that's it on the golf bag. The next item I sold was a set of 4 false footed individual white corn on the cob dishes. And let's see, I got these at a yard sale. I paid $5 for them. I paid more than I should have. But the people were nice, and when I'm at yard sales, if I talk to the people too much, then I feel obligated to buy something, and that's what happened with this. Anyway, live and learn. My mouth gets me in trouble. Anyway, the shipping was more than the items were. So the corn on the cob dishes were $9. They paid $9, and the shipping was $11.65. but at least they're gone, and they were so heavy. And they did take up a lot of room. So surprisingly, they were clunky and weird to keep stored, and I'm glad they're gone. The next item I sold were some mini red and green chili pepper, salt and pepper shakers. There were 3 sets of them. They were vintage. Sold for $8 and shipping was $6.93. The next item I sold was a bunnies with carrots, cabbage leaf ceramic creamer and lidded sugar bowl. Was a set. They were about 4 inches tall. Really cute. I had these listed for over a year. They sold like within days right before Easter. And I messaged the person and I was like, these are not probably going to get there in time for Easter. And they're like, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so but they were really cute. Anyway, they sold for $13.59 and shipping was $8.84. Glad it's gone because again, I've had those for way over a year. I thought they would sell last Easter and they didn't. So those were one of the things that I was like, should I pull this from my store and get, donate it? I just didn't know, but they finally sold. So the next item I sold, and this was weird. It was in a lot with a bunch of other just random crap from an auction. And I don't remember what else was in the lot. There were just random weird items in this lot. And this was a National Erectors Association brass hinged swing out magnifying glass. And it was kind of heavy. It was 2 3/4 inches in diameter. And I didn't have this thing. I thought, who's ever going to, I figured, well, I'll list it. I was like, who is ever going to even be looking for something like this? Well, it sold in less than 24 hours for $15. And the lot that I got it in, I think I paid $5 for, and there was a bunch of stuff in there. So this probably cost me 50 cents. I don't even know. But anyway, $15 in less than 24 hours. I couldn't explain it. Shipping paid was $7.09. So that wasn't a bad sale. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was quick and just so random. You just never know with eBay. You never know what's going to sell. I was totally going to donate that, and glad I didn't. The next item I sold, this is something else that came out of my mother's cabinet. Brand new. These things were brand new. They were never used. They still had the label on them. Was Pyrex Originals mixing bowl set of 4. So it was the quart size, the 1.5 quart, 2.5 quart, and a 4 quart. And again, so they were new old stock. I have had these listed for so long. They finally sold for $25.50 for all 4 of them. Shipping was $17.39. So those are gone. And it was free money, basically, till taxes come around next year. Let's see. The next item I sold was a lot of 3 Miche classic bag shells, magnetic covers. They're these handbags. I bought these at a yard sale, and I don't remember what I paid. I think I might have broken even because some of them weren't in great condition once I got them home and looked at them. But they're these handbags that you can take the cover off of it, and it has magnets. They just snap on her, and they stay on the bag. But I didn't have the bag. I only had some of the covers. So sold 3 of them for $8.49, and shipping was $8.84. The next item was the Fitz and Floyd French Market server, that tray that was in my post office video that went missing, and they finally got it after that whole debacle. If you saw the video, if you didn't see the video, it's the one where I have the USPS truck on fire on the thumbnail. So you can go watch what happened with that. It sold for $27 and shipping was $27.04. So, and I did get my money back from eBay. So, whatever. Let's see. Next item I sold was a pair of Sirocco wood mid-century oak leaf and acorns bookends. These were really pretty, and I think I paid $12 for them. Anyway, they only sold for $20. I was running a sale. Somebody made me an offer, and I was just like, yes, get them out of here. So they sold for I still made a profit, just not a lot. They sold for $20, and shipping was $8.84. The person left feedback though, and they're really happy with them, so they have a good home. The next 2 items I sold were to someone, I don't know if she's a viewer, but she has purchased from me several times. Her name is Colleen, And so thank you, Colleen, if you are a viewer. I can't remember if she's a viewer or not. I've never had conversations with her like I have with Mary. Anyway, she bought a pair of Bethlehem hand-carved olive wood twist candlesticks. They were really pretty. And let's see, she paid $12.23 for those. And then a studio art drip glaze ceramic vase that was 7 inches tall. It was artist signed, and she paid $16.83 for that. And then the shipping was $11.16, and I shipped her items together. So thanks again, Colleen. Really appreciate the sale. Let's see, the next item I sold was 2 pottery vessels, hand painted, etched folk art, Mayan Nicaraguan style. These were so cool. I thought for sure they would sell faster than they did, but they did not. I had them listed over a year. They finally sold for $16.82, and shipping was $7.72. Next item I sold was a 1950s posable head, 6.5-inch reindeer, and 2 plastic Rudolph 3.5-inch Christmas ornaments. You could tell they were like from the 50s, and I had a few lowball offers on them, but someone finally offered me $12 on them, and I took it. I think I paid $4 for all of them, so I was fine with that. So they paid $12, and shipping was $7.33. I can't remember where were going, but it must have been pretty far for it to be that much. They weren't very heavy, and they were small, so they didn't have a giant box. Next item I sold was a red apple stained glass accent Tiffany style table lamp. It needed a base on it. Came with the light and the cord. I did not know it was missing the base. When I bought it from the auction house, they did not show that in the photos. This is another thing that's typical. I haven't picked up anything from the auction. I didn't go there last weekend, and I have not bid on anything this week, and I don't think I'm going to. I'm just kind of tired of picking up things that there's either a chip that they don't disclose, or, like this lamp was missing, this light was missing the base. Anyway, I paid $15 for this stupid thing because I was bidding on it. I thought it was going to be worth it, and I sold it for $10.20. So I actually lost money on that sale, but someone bought it and they're going to work with it, so I'm fine with that. The next item I sold was a vintage Japanese translucent rice bowl with rice grain pattern. It was just a small, simple rice bowl. It sold for $5.94. Shipping was $6.93. I had that listed for quite a while too. The next item I sold, this vase, I don't know if you really want to call it a vase. It was kind of like a pottery piece, but it was so unique. I've never seen one before. I'm sure they're out there, but I just hadn't seen one before. It was a leather wrapped mouth fired boho pottery vase. It was signed. It had, I can't really describe this. I'll put pictures up here, but they do not show. There was like an opalescent finish on the outside of the bowl, vase, whatever you want to call it, that when you held it in the light, the colors would change. It was really pretty. Anyway, it sold finally for $19.54, and shipping was $9.02. Glad that it finally sold. It sold for a decent amount. So, and I do not remember. I probably paid $5 for it. But again, I've had it for a very long time. I thought it would sell sooner. It was really pretty and very cool, unique. Okay, colorful ceramic chicken planter, and it said Hecho and Mexico Mora on the bottom of it. It was about 5 inches by 6 inches. I think it had a little tiny chip somewhere. I can't remember, but anyway, it finally sold. Again, something else I've had forever. $6, and they paid $8.16 in shipping. So it's out of here. Let's see, the next item I sold, and this was in with a lot of stuff. I think this is one of the things that was in the lot with that weird magnifying glass thing. Let's see, vintage glass dome, cloche pocket watch wood-based display with a brass hook on the inside. It was 8 inches tall by 4.25 inches, or 4.5 inches in diameter. Sold for $12.16, and shipping was $8.84. Let's see, the next item I sold was, well, we're not too far from the end. How long have I been talking? 21 minutes. I'm doing better than normal. So, next item I sold was one vintage pottery deer tree. It was a deer, a little deer with a tree stump. They're very cute. You could tell these were like from the 50s. Shawnee USA was the company. Sold for $13.68 and shipping was $7.16. I still have one more in stock, but it has a very thin hairline crack. I reduced the price. It's got a very thin hairline crack on the tree part of the planter. They're not very big, but it doesn't go through. The crack doesn't go all the way through, so it's just on the outside, and it's not all the way down. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not a horrible crack. So I'm hoping that one will sell at some point. I can't remember what I have it listed for now. I don't want to look it up, but I've got it marked down because of the crack. Anyway, next item I sold was a Japanese style vintage black floral stoneware vase. Had a narrow neck. It was Pier 1. This was a Pier 1 product. This sold for $11.20 and $10.21 in shipping. I do not remember where I got that. I think it was in with that lot with that dome and that magnifying glass. Again, it was a very random lot. Nothing went together. Next item I sold was a Mickey Mouse linear large hinge canister container, black and white. It was eight and a quarter inches tall, so it wasn't tiny, very heavy. They paid $13.99 and $11 in shipping. Let's see, the next item I sold was an Asian jewelry trinket box, or a chest. It was hand carved camphor wood, had brass hardware, vintage, obviously, and that sold for $15. I had this listed for close to a year. Sold for $15 and shipping was $9.52. The next item I sold was a Fenton Hobnail white milk glass opaque lidded candy dish. It was 5.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Sold for $17.60 and shipping was $7.26. I thought I would sell that for more than I did. I did not make very much profit on that item, but I had it on sale and I was just ready to get rid of it. Next item I sold was a lace finger coral sea ocean. That's how I just had it listed with those words. It was a piece of coral. It weighed 12 ounces. Sold for $10.40 and shipping was $10.21. And I'm assuming it got there in one piece. It was weird to try and package that up because there's things sticking out all over the place and they're pointy, They're going to poke holes and stuff. But I wrapped it up pretty good and it didn't feel like it was going to bang or, get broken. So hopefully nothing happened to it. The next item I sold, and I think I got this for $3 at a Goodwill. No, it wasn't Goodwill. It was a thrift store. Anyway, it was a patriotic Stars and Stripes American flag water pitcher with swirls on it, 7.5 inches tall. Sold for $11.19 and shipping was $8.16. The next item I sold was a brass fishing cherry blossom scenes Japanese bookends, and it had some really pretty patina on it, or on them, the two bookends. Anyway, they sold for, I got this I got them for $5 at a yard sale. I think it was $5 at the most is what I paid for them. They sold for $26.24 and shipping was $10.56. They were really pretty, very, very heavy. Next item I sold was a Hobby Lobby item, and it didn't have the glass in it. It was a Anchors Hurricane Candle Holder hanging wooden nautical decor is how I had it listed. And originally it had a piece of a glass container that went inside of this frame, but it was missing that. Anyway, it still sold for $8.49 and shipping was $10.21. I think I paid $4 for it, so I just about doubled my money after fees and stuff, so not horrible. Let's see. The next item is a vintage Royal Copley small multicolored bird. It was a tanager on a branch. It was a little planter, kind of like that deer with the tree stump. Sold for $8.50 and it was $7.46 in shipping. think I still have one of these listed. I think there's one left. I don't think I sold the other one. Anyway, again, 850 and 746 in shipping. Very cute. Next item I sold was a pair of vintage 12-inch copper slash brass candle holder pillar candlesticks. And these were different. I couldn't find any exactly like them. Anyway, they sold for $15, and shipping was $7.23. Let's see. Next item is a bunny ears ceramic lid ribbed glass jar, and this was an Easter item. Sherry, who has purchased from me before, is also a viewer. She is my 99-cent only person that I used to pick things up for her if she had something that she saw and wanted to see if I could find it for her. A couple times I've found some things for her, and anyway, she paid $4.08 for the jar and $9.02 in shipping. I have not been back to the 99-cent only store since they've been going out of business. Every time I have driven by one, and I've driven by a few, the parking lot is packed, and I'm just, my social whatever, anxiety, whatever you want to call it, I can't go in. It's too many people. So I have not been in one yet since they've been closing. And I don't know, there's not many days left, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it in one or not. If I do, I will look to see, because she had some other stuff that she wanted me to see if I could find that was Easter stuff, but I've got a few things listed that I picked up at the 99-cent store, but they are not spring stuff. They were from like the fall. I've got quite a number of items, mugs and a blanket, like a throw thing, Anyway, thank you again, Sherry. And I'm sorry I haven't been back. Let's see. Next item I sold was a vintage Chinese marbled soapstone carved pair of bookends. And they had a carved vase with flowers on them. It was really pretty. $16, and shipping was $12.80. Let's see. The next item was a vintage grape pattern porcelain soup tureen with lid and ladle. It was California pottery. Sold for $14, and shipping was $9.81. Next item was a black and gold Art Deco-ish cigar or cigarette lighter. It was Atlantic mold from the 1960s. This was such a weird item. I got it in a lot with a bunch of other junk, and I've had it listed for quite a long time. It finally sold for $9, and shipping was $7.23. Next item I sold was a Rare Earth by Stone Mountain USA Active Hobo multi-use shoulder bag, black, new with tags. It was actually more of like a gunmetal color, not really black. It looked to be a very functional handbag. Anyway, it finally sold. I had it listed for a while. It sold for $19. It was brand new, tags, the whole, if I keep repeating myself, sold for $19.50, and shipping was $8.16. I thought about keeping it for my laptop, but if it hadn't sold, I would have ended up keeping it. Next item I sold was a DeGrazia Eagle Hawk 3-inch pendant from the Tucson, Arizona gallery. I know about this artist's work. DeGrazia has been a thing since I was a kid. I was born here. So anyway, the pendant sold for $7, and shipping was $5.43, and they left me good feedback for it. I paid $1 for it, so it was in with that lot of all the random crap. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. There was so many random things in that lot. The next item I sold was a retail arbitrage. I had other retail arbitrage stuff in here. I didn't even mention that, but it was an I Love Halloween Skeleton Hands Heart coffee mug, 14-ounce mug, sold for $3.82, and shipping was $7.26. This is the kind of stuff that's going to get probably pulled from the store, because at $3.82, I really did not, and I paid $1.29 for the mug when I bought it. So I really didn't make enough money for it to be worth my box and my packing materials, the bubble wrap and stuff, for it to even be worth my time to ship this thing. So yeah, this kind of stuff's going to get yanked from the store and either sold in an auction or donated. I'm over it. Um, Anyway, next item was an Accutech LED digital gold postal scale up to 86 pounds with an AC adapter, and it was working. I tested it. And I tested that it was working with the proper weight also, because I had my Actec scale and I would weigh things on that one and then I would weigh it on my scale and they were matching up. So I knew that it was working and that it was weighing properly. Anyway, it finally sold for $12.79. I've had it listed for a while. Shipping was $11.93. And it was in with a big lot of just random stuff. So next item I sold was a Lenox Masterpiece Set 5x7 frame and 7-inch vase. Floral designs on the vase, 24 karat gold trim. This package of the frame and the vase sold for $19.95 and shipping was $13.06. We're almost there. Next item I had was a small bone china bluebird figurine. It was only 2 3/8 inches tall. It was made in Taiwan. It was so cute. I saw this in a thrift store that I happened to be driving by, and I happened to see there was a thrift store there. I didn't even know it was there. Went in, I found this for $1. So I found a few other things too, and I've got them listed. But anyway, it sold in less than a week, and somebody bought it. I had it on sale. They paid $5.94 for it, so $1 into $5.94, not too bad. I used a tiny box for it, a couple sheets of bubble wrap. It really wasn't worth shipping, but again, I didn't pay much for it, so I'm going to be staying away from that kind of stuff though, because it's just, again, it's not worth it. I know I like to keep low dollar items in my store so that if my viewers want to buy something, they can and they don't have to spend an arm and a leg. But I do that too much. I get too many things that are low dollar and the viewers are not the ones buying the stuff. It's just, I know people don't have a lot of money to spend, but I have to sell like 30 items for to make any profit, and then I'm spending most of my money on boxes and packing material, and it all adds up. And then I'm having to drive 8 miles in each direction to the post office because I'm going to one that I know will scan my packages. So yeah, between the gas and everything else, plus summer's here now, I don't want to go if I don't have to. And I'm not driving all the way to the post office that far away. If I've only sold 2 items and both of them are under $10, it doesn't make any sense. So, okay, so that was the Bluebird. The next 2 items were retail arbitrage. And I don't know if Grace is a viewer or not. If she is, thank you. There was no note, but she bought 2 of these. One was a snail with a pencil holder attached in the back. And then the other one was a kitty with a pencil holder. These were, I picked them up at 99¢ only. Both of them together, she paid $18.34 and $14.66 in shipping. Not a lot of profit in those. So they were, but I had them on sale. I just want to get rid of them. And it's summer, so I figured maybe they would sell. I can clear out some stock. Let's see, the next item I sold, and I don't know, I sold these items together also. This is Diego. I don't know if I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if this is a viewer. Again, this is someone who bought 2 items. Most people don't buy 2 items unless they're viewers, so I just don't know. I don't know. If you are Diego, thank you. One item was a vintage solid brass Hindu Ganesha. I can't say this name. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering it. It was a Hindu figure. And 5 inches tall for success and blessings. I looked all this stuff up. Paid $12 for that. And the shipping was $7.26 for that. And then the other item was a Starbucks stainless steel cobalt blue ombre 16-ounce tumbler, and the lid screwed on. It didn't just like push in or whatever. And it came with the straw, had the straw with it. And they paid $12 for the figurine and $9 for the tumbler. And I know I discounted their shipping, so I can't give you an exact amount on what they paid for shipping. It was $7.26 for the figurine and $6.93 for the tumbler, but I combined them, and I know I sent them a refund on some of it. So let's see, because they questioned me before they made a purchase and asked if I would or, if there was a discount if they purchased more than one item that could be shipped together. So okay, we got 3 things left. The next item I sold was a Lenox 11-inch vase. It was from the Keepsake collection. It had a heart-shaped mouth at the top. It was unique. Gold trim vintage, sold for $15. Shipping was $11. And the next 2 items sold to Mary again. Thanks, Mary. I was so surprised to see her pop up again in my sales. The first item was a 2006 Jim Shore Heartwood Creek cross. It was a church village with a wall plaque, and that was $6. And then the other item was a dash. No, that was $10. The Jim Shore item was $10. The other item, the purchase that she purchased, was a Dash Rapid Egg Cooker, and she paid $6 for that, and her shipping for both items was $10. Thanks again, Mary. Anyway, that is it. That's it for the sales. I've been talking for almost 40 minutes. Maybe I can edit some of this out. Anyway, my total sales were $703.94. My cost of goods was around $206, and my approximate net after cost of goods and supplies, which would be like bubble wrap, boxes, that kind of stuff, was around $450 for the entire month. So, if you're new or you're thinking about selling stuff, just keep all of that in mind. My net was just about half of my total sales amount. It was a little bit more than that, but you have to buy boxes. You don't have to buy boxes, but I buy a lot of breakables. A lot of the stuff that I sell will break. And so I will not use a used box on an item that can break. Unless the used box is in really good condition and doesn't have any crunches in the outside, or the box hasn't been compromised, and the integrity of the box is still intact. I usually use brand new boxes for items that are breakable because they're sturdier and I don't have to worry about, or as much about, the item getting damaged. I want things to show up in the condition that I sent them in. So I'm spending a lot of money on boxes, on bubble wrap. I over bubble wrap things because, again, I don't want things to get broken. So and again, my total sales were 703, and that's just the amount of the items. Now, eBay adds in your shipping as part of your sale. You get charged fees on your shipping too. But I don't add that in because for me, that's not part of my sale. It gets deducted at the end of the year. So, anyway, I think my ASP, which is the average sales price per item, was around $14. So that's not horrible, but it wasn't awful for a month. This is typical for me. This is about what I make in a month. I normally was doing my videos once a week or once every 2 weeks, so the amount was spread out, but cost of goods, after my cost of goods and after my supplies and stuff, $450, clearing $450 for the month, again, is about standard for me, but so it's not bad. It could have been better, but I have to focus more on paying less for items and more profit. Once I can get moved at some point, whether I get approved for an apartment here or I end up in Kentucky, my store is going to change. So, the way that I do things will be changing. So we'll see what happens with that. But thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with me tripping over my words and, not making sense sometimes. I will edit some things if it's really bad at any point in this and my mouth really isn't working. Oh, I did leave this part out. My sales were down by 25% compared to the last month, the same time period from the previous month. 25% down. So that's significant enough to mention. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.